Okay, welcome everybody to the Unleash Your Strengths Roundtable for Monday, December 23rd. Got people still coming in. Bear with me a moment. Monday, December 23rd. And I'm just going to check my email, make sure that nobody is struggling with or needing. Let's see. Okay. Needing links or anything like that. Okay, I think we're good. I'm not seeing any. So, all right, let's get started. Oh, actually, let me just check one more thing. Okay. Donna, I got your email. I just saw it as I was looking for emails from other people. I will respond as soon as I'm done and fix that. Okay. I think we're ready. All right. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about what is strengths. And the reason we need to remember this consistently is to remember when we're sharing this concept, when we're telling other people about strengths, or even when we're trying to remember it for ourselves, what is it we're trying to do? What is it we're trying to accomplish with this? We're going to talk about what is this roundtable? How can you benefit from this, not just emotionally, but also financially? I want to share a brief story of one of the reasons why I do what I do. And I want to talk, this is going to be for specifically for the entrepreneurs or the network marketers or anybody who's just generally wants to be their best selves and is sick of comparison. And we're going to go through a couple of testimonials so you can all see, what it is that we're trying to, like, what kind of results some of the members of this group have accomplished, and then show anybody how to get access to the community so that everybody knows that when you bring people to these calls, this call here, you can bring people, they can absolutely just check it out for free, see if they like it, see if this is something they want, and then they'll learn all about it and how to get started. And then we're going to get into the judgy strengths, which is a lot of fun. It's my favorite. I love talking about the judgy strengths. So get ready. What you want to make sure you have is your top 10 strengths available, and make sure you've got the worksheet for today. Let me just grab this real quick and I'll share. Let's see. Let's grab the worksheet so we can get clear about what are the judgy strengths. So let's do this real quick before we get started. What I want you to do is have your top 10 strengths out. And in your top 10, I want you to highlight, underline, or make a note of any of your top 10 that you find in this list. All right. And in the chat, let us know, how many of these do you have in your top 10? Are you more dominantly judgy, or do you only have a couple of these or a few of these in your top 10? There's no normal, there's no right or wrong. Bear with me. There we go. There's no right or wrong. There's no normal necessarily. But depending on how many of these you have in your top 10 would dictate where you do best when you begin. Okay. It doesn't mean you're only this. Just FYI, I want to stop any kind of mindset issues that might come up with this that aren't helpful. Just because you have, let's say if all of your top 10 strengths are these judgy categories, it doesn't mean you're a judgy person in the way that we view the world. It's not about that at all. But I love this word judgy because I get people's ears to open up. That means judgy is true, but people's ears open up and they want to understand, what does it mean? So we're going to talk about that. What does it mean to be judgy or to have judgy strengths? Okay, so there you go. I'm going to leave that up for just one more second or 1 minute. When you fill out the Google form, the Google Doc that has, when we're sharing your results with me, what I like to do is I like to share those results with the group so everybody can see some examples of how well people are applying this context of strengths to their life. But in particular, next week, next Monday, so today's the 23rd, so next Monday, the year before the year ends, we're going to meet one more time before the year's up. And I've got 3 of these boxes left from my live event that I did a while back. 3 boxes. These boxes have about $200 to $300 worth of self-development tools, essential oils, all kinds of awesome stuff that you can you can get for free. I'm going to pick 3 people from all the people that have shared their testimonials with me. So make sure you do that. Let's get people in. Make sure you're sharing your testimonials with me. Show the world what is, the stuff that you're learning and using inside this community, how it's helping you. And if you have any questions or need that again, let us know. So I'm excited that next week I get to pick 3 people and give away some awesome stuff, which I really do love. It's so much fun. So let's see. Oh, Diane says the box was an incredible collection of generous gifts. Yes. All right, let's move. Let's do this. So what is strengths? Let's talk about that real quick. Why does this matter? Why are we here? Let me make sure I'm watching the door, making sure everyone gets in. Okay, so why does this matter? So first, when I got introduced to strengths, the first thing that this group of people that was teaching strengths did was they put up this star. And when I saw this is what helped me understand I need to do this. So they put up the star and they said, okay, imagine that by the way, does everyone see the star? I want to make sure I'm sharing my screen properly. Got it? Okay, good. So these tips of these stars, we'll call these high tips, right? These are like your strengths, the things you're good at, all right? Even if you don't believe they're strengths, they're still things that you're good at. And they are helpful and they do make a difference in the lives of others. And so these here, but these points of the star would represent, we'll call them weaknesses. And what many of us, and especially me, were taught at a very young age was to let your strengths be your strengths and develop your weaknesses, right? To improve the weakest parts of yourself in order to be more well balanced. Well, what I learned is when we focus on a weakness, right, or we focus on developing something that we're in essence really not, we neglect the areas of our strengths that are our best selves. And thus, these strengths no longer are strengths, they're just potential strengths or talents, and they go down. Think of it like, if you spend, let's say, a year of your life learning how to play the piano and then just give it up, the ability to do it starts to diminish. And so the things that you're good at start to shrink, and the things that you're bad at, you start growing. But what ends up happening is that you take these two and you start to meet in the middle. And you go from being that star to being this circle. And this right here was the big epiphany for me. And when you look at this right now, this had a representation to me. I would love to see or hear what is your feedback of what this means to you, or what it meant to you when you've heard me talk about this in the past. If this is your first time seeing this diagram, let me know what this means to you. If this is something you've seen in the past and you want to let me know what it meant to you when you first saw it, feel free to unmute or share.
Hey, Eddie.
Yes.
Jackie.
Hey, Jackie.
Yeah, when I first saw this pre you.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made my life made sense, because I've been forever trying to strengthen those weaknesses, and because of the stress in my life. And when I actually saw this diagram, it just made it so much easier.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Who else wants to go?
I'll go. For me, it's it also stress relief, like a big weight off my shoulders, because one, I don't have to do those things that I'm uncomfortable with, and two, I can do them in other ways, and it's such a stress relief for me also.
Okay, good. Anybody else?
For me, a star sparkles and shines, but a circle is just kind of blah.
Yeah. Let's talk about blah. All right, blah. That whole thing, right? What we're gonna do is let's move into what the next piece to this is understanding strengths. Is now that we've seen that, bear with me a second while I grab my slide again. Right. So let's talk about then what's awesome about strengths. Why is this work? What is the principle here? And here we go. Hold on a second. So what's awesome about strengths? This is what I tell people that gets people to take the assessment. So as of 2020, there were about 7.7 billion people on the planet. We're at about 8 billion now. And the odds that someone else has the same strengths assessment as you was relevant to why I was interested in this. I hate anything that groups me. This is why I don't like personality tests. And what I learned what strengths is different. So for example, the chances that someone else has the same strengths as I do, where like, for example, the same top 5 as I do in different order is 1 in 280,000. So it's about, so if you were to take those odds, right, and put that into how many people there are on the planet, we're at around 27,000, 28,000, let's say 30,000 people, right? So me and about 30,000 people would potentially have the same top 5 in this different order. The chances that we would have the same top 5 in the same order, and yes, the order does absolutely matter, I'll prove it later, is 1 in 33 million. So that roughly translates to around 230, 300 people. So just with the top 5 being in the same order, we suddenly make this big 8 billion people world a lot smaller. So we go from 8 billion down to about 300. The chances of another person having the same top 6 in the same order is just under 1 in a billion. So now out of 8 billion people, we're down to like 8 to 10 people. And the chances, by the way, here, I'll take a screenshot of this if you need. I'll give you a second. Make sure people are coming in. So take a screenshot of this if you need before I move on to the next slide. So the chances of another person having the same top 6 in the same order is just under 1 in a billion. And then the chances of another person having the same top 7 in the same order is more than 1 in 8 billion, way more, which means that just with the top 7, you're different than anyone else on the planet. The chances of another person having the same full 34 strengths as you in that exact same order, which would be exactly like you, would be more than, massively more than 1 in 130 billion. That means that, and by the way, they show the statistics show that by the year 2050, there will have been 130 billion people ever born. By the year 2050, which we're like way off from, right? Like so many years away from. Some of us might not even live that long. And we are, the strengths assessment is far beyond that, which means that you are different than anyone ever. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this if you need before I move on to the next piece. You are different than anyone ever will be, ever has been. And this what led me to coin this phrase and to actually put it into a title, right? Which is, I am infinitely unique and cannot be duplicated. The people that you follow, that you learn from, you get inspired by, or otherwise look up to, they're also infinitely unique. So whenever you compare yourself to other people, you're comparing yourself to someone that can't be duplicated, which makes comparison irrelevant. They don't show you how to be you, right? That's what you're here for. You're here to actually focus on what makes you unique and do things your way so you stand out, whether it's in your business or in your life or in your health, your relationships. It's being you. One of the things that I got a message from somebody who I'm working with. I'm actually working with a couple right now. And one of the things that one of the couples said to me, which was awesome, she said, I don't have to justify my way. So I had to like give you that direct quote, which is powerful. So here's the golden rule that makes this possible. Remember, strengths has nothing to do with what you can't do. Strengths has everything to do with how you do everything your way, and it works, but only 100% of the time. Your top 10 strengths are where you are influential, you're creative, you're productive, and you connect with others. Your bottom 5, when we were talking about that earlier, the bottom 5, right, is where you are holding others back, you turn others off, you become boring, unproductive, and disconnect from others, or even the right people. It's when we're trying to be those things that these things happen, right? So what we want to do is remember this golden rule with everything we do. When I didn't realize this, but when I was there was a time in my life where I really needed this, and this is where it kind of came from. And so I'll kind of walk you through that real quick to help you understand why I do this every single week, Monday morning, 9 a.m. When my wife and I were first building our network marketing business, I was working part-time. Well, I was working actually full-time at a job. I had very early hours, but once we got our first $1,000 check, and then our next $1,000 check, and then our check started to go up, I was able to quit my job. And I came home and I wanted to tell everybody about how great it was that what we were able to do, because I want to help other people do the same. And the very first person that I ever tried to sell network marketing to was a gal who worked at the front desk at the gym that I used to go work out at. And I'll never forget her, even though she's probably wants to forget me if she hasn't already. So I'm sure she has, but like a bad accident. So I invited her a bunch of times to my house to come check it out, to come talk with me and my wife, to hear about network marketing, hear about what it's done for me. She came in, and as soon as she sat down, I was sitting with me and her, and my wife was next to us. And my wife was the one that was the main one that kind of drove our business. And so I'm like, I'm going to do everything her way. And that's where this whole process began. Needless to say that as I was trying to be her and do things her way, it went horribly wrong. I've never seen a person want to get out of my house faster than this woman. She was like, I want to get out. And very politely, kindly made her way to the front door. And the second the door closed, I knew I would never see her again. And I'll never hear from her again, obviously. And I came up the stairs and I looked my wife in the eye, and she goes, "What the hell was that?" Because she knew it was awful. And I was so angry, I literally said, "Don't talk to me." And I went in my office and I locked myself in there, frustrated and angry. And I said, "I can't do this." And maybe for you, it's not network marketing. Maybe for you, it's a relationship. Maybe for you, it's something else. Maybe for you, it's parenting. And you stop and you just go, "I can't do this like this anymore. I have to find my way. I have to find a way that works for me." And it wouldn't be for another like 5 years before I would get introduced to strings. So needless to say, I wish I had known about this sooner, which is why I teach these principles here. So this roundtable here is about coming to remember to use our strengths on a weekly basis, to stay committed to being our best selves with everything we do, to stop the things with comparison that don't help us. And so when you come every week, you stay focused, and you can bring others with you that it would help you to help them even more to stay focused on their strengths. And when you do, ultimately, right, you help them move their own lives forward. Maybe you've got people in your network marketing business, you want to help them stay in their strengths. Bring them in. Maybe you have coaching clients that you've sold coaching to that you want to incorporate strengths in your coaching business. Bring those people to this. That's how you can benefit both emotionally and financially. Or if you have family, friends, anybody that you want to help them stay in their strengths because it'll help your relationship, bring them to this. And so I want to encourage you all to do that as often as possible. This right here, this Zoom link is what we'll use every week. So make sure that you're inviting people with the Zoom link, or message me if you haven't. And when you get the lifetime access to the community, you not only get all these calls, but you also get this. Let me just share with you, and then we'll share some testimonials of some people that have done this. This is pretty cool. So when you join when you get the lifetime access, you get access, of course, to all the recordings, but you also get access to this thing called the Biz Acceleration Roadmap. And in here, they have their first strength steps, right? This is like the workshop that I teach. The fundamentals of your strengths, how to apply them to everything you do on a daily basis. And then, of course, how to let go of some things that don't really honor your strengths or your best self. So that's included inside of here. And when you upgrade to the lifetime access inside this group, you also get my strengths fundamentals course, which looks like, I believe this is it right here. Yes. So you get this fundamentals course, and I'm actually going to give you permission to sell this course. This is my course on everything when it comes to the fundamentals of strengths. I'm going to give you permission to sell it at your price. I suggest you charge $297 for it. And when you get permission from me to sell it, you get to keep the whole thing. It's not a commission or an affiliate thing. And when you sell it to people, they go into this course. They don't go into my community, hear pitches from me and all that stuff. It's just a way for you to use this to generate an income, making a difference in other people's lives, the way I have for the last 8 years of my life. And so since I continue to do this, I want you all to benefit from it. So this course is all fully done. And when you upgrade to the lifetime access, you get this course as well. All right. So I'll put the link to do that here in case you want to use it for yourself or share it with others. That'll just take me 30 seconds. And then let's talk about some people that have gotten some value from this. Bear with me a moment. I am unleashed. There we go. Lifetime. All right. So this is the link. I want you to copy it, share it with others, upgrade to the lifetime access if you haven't already. I put that link in the chat. Share it with others, my friends, so that we can help more people and kind of think about this for you. What kind of difference would it make for you to be able to make a difference in people's lives? For those of you that have been doing this a while, share a testimonial in the chat on how has this affected you emotionally or personally outside of your bank account. Take a moment. While you're doing that, let's talk about how it's benefited some people financially. This is the part that I get really excited about as well. So there's a few people that have submitted their testimonials this week. So Diane shared that she generated 3 leads in her business and $120 in commissions. She also helped some people in her network marketing business. So she said, my number 1 futuristic strength helps me to continue forward with my number 5 positivity. And I use my number 2 maximizer to make my future even brighter by using the creative ideas from number 3 ideation and creating a plan with my number 4 strategic strength. Strategy strength, strategic, right? And so Diane has also gotten some people in her network marketing business re-engaged that weren't doing much, which has also been helpful. Robin Gibbs, by the way, who she literally just overcome a stroke. Now I'm sharing that with permission because last week we talked about this. Robin Gibbs just recently had a stroke, recovered very quickly. Maybe this is just Robin's style. But after her stroke, she generated 5 leads, made 3 sales, and generated $420 with her strengths. She said, my futuristic strength helps me to continue forward with my, oh, that's someone else's. I copied it. I forgot to put that one on. So we'll move on to the next one. Sorry, Robin. I'm pretty sure that's Robin's. I think Diane's a different one.
That is my duty.
Yeah, it is. So I gave, apparently I gave Diane your testimonial.
Oh,
type on my end.
Yes.
All right. So where were, oh yeah. And then Renee couldn't be here today. Renee's usually here helping out. But she, in the last few weeks, actually, she's done a couple of things and she just submitted her testimony. And I combined a couple of her testimonials. So she had generated 27 leads for a business, 27 sales, made over $700 in commissions and bonuses. And she said, just being true to me and doing events that connect me to more people authentically, allowing my strengths and not letting my lower strengths take over, which is also huge. Okay. So my friends, there we go. And those are just a few of people that are having some great success. Diane, if you don't mind, would you share real quick, because we've got a lot of network marketers here real quick. Can you share, and I know you don't mind sharing this because you did it for us earlier, how your strengths helped you with getting your people in your network marketing business re-engaged? We'd love to hear that.
Sure. I'll try to make it brief. Actually, my number 1 is individualization. So I work with people where they are and uniquely. And my number 2 is positivity. So I'm always, looking for that silver lining. And my number 5 is connectedness. So that means I need to just connect with the right people. When I engaged with a few people on my team because I saw their potential, and that is number 3, my developer. I saw the greatness inside of them that I could help them to pull out and just be their best self and to make a lot of money and get out of financial debt and a slump that they were in personally. So now we're doing that together and it engages all of us. It energizes all of us.
Okay, so this is a big deal when it comes to network marketing, friends. It's getting engagement is huge, and in our own business, we had experienced many times where people just stopped working, stopped doing the thing, and it started to feel like we were the only ones doing all the work, and if we didn't work, they didn't work, and this is not a good place to be in network marketing. It's very discouraging and de-energizing. So I'm grateful that you've done the work, Diane, and start bringing those people around. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Well done. Okay. All right. So let's get to today's lesson. We're going to talk about the judgy strengths. So my friends. Make sure you're inviting people to these calls so we can get more people doing this. Let's go from bringing, 30, 40 people a week on this to thousands, right? All right. So first thing about judgy strengths is they're about rules, okay? Judgy strengths are about rules. It's not about the rules. It's not just about the rules that you place on others. It's just the rules in general. Okay, so when we're looking at judgy strengths, we're going to just kind of go right to the judgy overview first. Okay, so judgy strengths. So this training manual will help you understand and apply your judgy strengths. Judgy strengths are a concept based on the idea that individuals have inherent rules or requirements that need to be met to feel completely comfortable and perform at their best. When these rules are honored, individuals feel energized, excited, and confident, enabling them to fully embrace their authentic selves. So what it means to have judgy strengths is they represent like deeply held beliefs or values that shape your actions, your decisions, and your interactions. And they're influenced by your experiences, your successes and failures, making them very personal and subjective. When these rules are violated, you can become triggered and experience frustration, which leads to wasted time and potential. So let's talk about the problem. If you don't get or apply your judgy strengths, you will, it says you might, but you will feel very stressed or frustrated inside, and your relationships might suffer even more because people don't understand you. You might also miss out on opportunities and have trouble being a good leader. But when you really know and believe in your judgy strengths, these rules that you stand for, and you help other people understand them, you understand yourself better and feel more confident. You can also communicate better and build stronger relationships. You can get more done and be a better leader and create a life that makes you happy. So the principle of this is how to apply this is understand that your judgy rules might seem stubborn to others, but they're actually important lessons that you've learned, or in my case, I would like to say earned. Like for me, one of my judgy rules is I will never do anything outside of my strengths. That's a rule I have earned. I have earned my commitment to that rule. So it's don't hide these rules. Share your experiences and why your rules matter. This helps people understand and respect you, make it easier to work together. Sometimes maybe we have communication low or something, but we struggle to tell people why these rules are so important, and we just get right to the follow them or else. And you're going to find far more resistance than collaboration. So the strategy here is when someone breaks one of your judgy rules, don't freak out. First, notice how you're feeling, maybe angry or even frustrated. Then think about which of the rule was broken and why it was important to you. Finally, calmly explain the rule, why it matters, and what you'd like to happen instead. Sharing a story about how you learned or earned that rule can help people understand why you're committed to it and why they should consider leaning on it. Not trying to become you, but to benefit from what you have earned. So what we're going to do today is you're going to look up your Gallup. Of course, you're going to take your goal. We're going to look at your Gallup strengths report and see which of your top 10 strengths are judgy. If there's 6 or more in your top 10, right, are judgy, then you're considered judgy. But what that means is that you do things best when you begin with judgy. So they're going to write down some of the rules that go with each judgy strength. We've got them here, and I'll show you in a moment. For example, if belief is one of your rule might be, I only do things that match my values. And we'll come up with a story with how you earned or learned each rule. Pick a safe situation to practice sharing your rules, like talking to a friend or a family member. As you get better at this, you can start using your judgy strengths in tougher situations. So understand that your judgy strengths generally come from experiences, generally, not completely, all right, but they generally do. So for example, if you've got, let's say, I know we have a few people here with futuristic high, right? For them, they've got a lot of life experiences that show or that substantiate that having a vision of the future is energizing and helpful versus maybe like context. Having a vision of the past might be not so helpful, for example. Okay, so let's get to it. Make sure you've written down which of your top 10 strengths are in the judgy category. Okay. And what I want you to do is pick one. All right, and we're going to identify and articulate your rule around that one. Reflect on each of your judgy strengths, articulate those rules. We're going to think about, we're going to be transparent with those rules, right? Being transparent will help you. We're going to apply your rules in safe environments. right? And we're going to start with low stakes, low, like not so scary situations, like what should I eat today, or who should I follow up with? Maybe something that's not so scary, right? Or maybe you can for those of you that are building a business, follow up with a customer is already doing well and you want to get a testimonial, right? Where are your rules there? And then what I want you to do is think about stories behind your rules and how you earned your commitment to them. By clearly defining and communicating your rules, you can act as a teacher, guiding others to understand your perspective and contribute to a more productive and harmonious environment. Okay, so the following pages in the worksheet provide a further breakdown of each judgy strength and examples of how these strengths and their associated rules can be applied in your personal and professional life. It's important to remember these are just examples and your specific rules and applications might be unique to you, okay? All right, so here's what we do now for the rest of the meeting. We're going to get some examples with you all here. So what I want you all to do is get focused on a result that you want to see happen this week, whether it's in your health, your relationships, or your business. Think of a measurable one and say, I want to see something that you want to see happen, right? And one of the things that happens a lot when I meet with people is I'll say, what is a measurable goal you want to see happen this week? And a lot of times I'll get, I want to feel better, or I want to have a good time with my family, or I want to be confident. Those are great things, but what we're looking for is a measurable example of those. So if your result is, I want to feel good, cool. What is something that you would see that would verify to you, look, that's me feeling good? What is a thing that you would be doing or saying? Who would you be with? Right? So take a minute and get clear about a measurable result. And once you've got that, and you want to work with me right now and applying your strengths to that thing, put your little digital hand up. And I think it's, I always forget. Oh, you'll see it says raise hand in Zoom. Or if you want to put your measurable result in the chat, you can do that too. So focus right now on a measurable result. Make sure that when I go to you, you share first the measurable result and the strength you want to pick, which one of the judgy strengths you want to start with. And we'll get a lot of great examples of how the judgy strengths work. So let's see who's first. Nancy said, I invited my friend to attend this Monday meeting. She'll be joining in the future. Awesome. Thank you, Nancy. Leanne says, I'm learning. I love my rules and they have caused problems. Okay. Leanne, where have they caused problems? Let me know. Robin says, I have 4 judgy in my top 5, but 7 executing in my top 10. Okay, gotcha. Okay, Nancy, let's go with you first.
Energetic.
Energetic. Oh, I see. Gotcha. All right, Nancy, let's go with you first. What's the measurable results you want to see happen this week?
Okay, this is what I just wrote down.
Mhm.
I just had a realtor event. I want to enroll my realtor friend in a wholesale account. I'm just going to focus on one person right now.
Okay. Enroll my realtor friend
Yep, in a wholesale account.
in a wholesale account.
Yep.
Okay. Got it. Okay, so you've got something awesome to offer, and maybe she knows, maybe she doesn't know she needs it. So we got to go through that process, and then we're going to bring in your judgy rules, your judgy strengths.
All right.
Okay, so first off, let's understand the fundamentals of enrolling people or selling products, right? We've got to find out a few things. So the only thing that we know about this friend is that she's a realtor. And so what we want to do is find out, what does she want, not guess, right? So for me, if I'm meeting with somebody in a realtor environment and we're talking about the subject of being a realtor, my first question to her would be, what is the thing that you want for your realtor business? And what's the biggest difficulty for you? So
Okay.
I like, if I was just focusing on that, and only reason I'm doing that right now, Nancy, is so that you understand that what you have to offer might not be working with that. It might be for something else, something personal, like maybe a health goal or a relationship goal, or maybe she wants to get out of the realtor business, right? And do
Okay.
something different. I don't know, right? So we would have to find out. So number one is find out what's the most important thing to her life that she wants to focus on. Is it her health? Is it her relationships? Or is it her income? Number one.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say goal, the best way to ask that question is say, what is something you want to see improve with that? Right? Most people don't want to admit they're struggling, but everybody struggles with something, right? So what is the thing that they're struggling with? Instead of asking that question, say, what's something you want to improve? And then they'll answer the struggling question.
Okay.
Okay.
What-
So what is something you want to improve? Is it your health, your relationships, your income? What is the most important thing right now for you to focus on? And then go, all right, in what area of that life, that part of your life frustrates you the most right now? And just get right to that question. And the goal is to get people talking so that when you offer what you have to offer, it makes sense. I'll get to your question in a second. But the point of this is so that we don't become used car salesmen. If you don't know what they want, then you're going to end up guessing.
Right.
Okay, I'll give you a second to finish writing, and then I'll come back. I saw your hand up, so.
Well, someone was interrupting me, so.
Oh, so you were waving
Sorry.
someone else off. Okay, okay.
Yeah, but yes, I do have a question, but I want you to finish, and I am taking notes, so I can.
Yeah,
give you a little
so
background.
we've got to find out what is the measurable result she wants. Same way I'm doing with you, right? I found out what you want. You want to enroll a realtor. Okay, cool. And then my next question to you would be, when it comes to enrolling your realtor, what is the thing you're afraid of or worried about?
Okay. Well, that she won't see the value.
Okay, so there we go. So she won't see the value. Okay, so that is your goal here, is to help her see the value. So value is measured in change,
Right.
right? So how do we know what we have to offer is valuable? Is when people say, oh, I went from this to this. This is why we do testimonials, right?
Right.
So for me, it's important to ask them, okay, if you, when it comes to getting this result, what's the frustrator for you? And when, not if, when that frustrator is no longer a problem, how different will life be for you? When that frustrator is no longer a problem, how different will your life be for you? So when you're working with her, with what you have to offer, your goal is to help her see that you're trying to help her get that result. The difference in her life, that's the value. Right? So like people go, Eddie, teach me how to make $1,000 this week. All right, great. When you make $1,000 after this frustrator is no longer a problem, how different will your life be? And they'll say, well, I'll be able to pay off my bills and I'll feel better. Okay, cool. Then we're not working to make 1,000. We're working to help you pay off your bills and help you feel better. So
Make
what I
a
want
lot
you,
more than 1,000.
yeah, I'm sure, but
Just wanna
so
keep going.
yeah, and so then you kind of like, and so that we're on the same page about what you actually want, not what you're asking for. And like for me, I'm not trying to help you enroll your realtor friend. There's something else, something more important. For example, when you enroll your realtor friend and she has seen the value and we've already taken care of that, what does that do for you, Nancy?
Builds my confidence.
Okay.
It
So that's
also
what
makes
we're
me
doing.
feel good because if I can't bring value, I really don't want them to enroll. I want them to get value and see that they're getting value.
Okay. So what you want is to build your confidence and make a difference for other people.
Correct.
That's what we're working for, everybody. So I'm not trying to help Nancy enroll one person. I'm trying to help Nancy build her confidence and make sure the people around her have a change. There's a shift. And so if I was coaching Nancy privately, we would talk about, okay, who is this person's, find out everything, ask these questions and I give you a list. But without having to go there, let's just go right to your strengths. Okay. So now we know what we're actually working on. And which one of your judgy strengths are we going to go with?
Well, I want to do one I haven't done before. So I'm going to do, gosh, I don't know whether to do responsibility or achiever. I don't know.
Let's do achiever because I can already see a long rant happening with responsibility. So let's go with achiever. All right. Okay. So if I focus in on achiever, let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay. So here's your judgy rule. To feel to feel successful. Now, what we want to do is we want to own this rule. Okay. Remember, to feel successful, I need to constantly or consistently accomplish tangible goals and see measurable progress in my endeavors. So what we're going to do is we're going to honor this rule with helping this friend of yours. Okay. And what you can actually do is you can actually say this to her, but instead of just saying this, I want you to think of a time in your life where you earned your commitment to this rule.
Oh, okay. So you want me to say it
If
out
you got
loud
it, if you
and
got
then
it right
tell-
now, can you remember a time where you earned, I mean, obviously try to sum up as best you can, where you earned your commitment to this rule, that to feel successful, I need to consistently accomplish tangible goals and see measurable
Yes.
progress in my endeavors.
Yes. Yes, it was not business, but doesn't matter because strengths are for everything. This
Right.
was, the tangible goal was to earn my master's degree in special education, which meant jumping through a lot of classes and a lot of hoops.
Yeah. And what did you did you have times where you were thinking of quitting, but you stayed on track and you consistently went through it?
Well, I wouldn't say quitting because I was getting help from the state government to do this.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it was like, I'm going to do this, but there's times I got discouraged. It was a lot
That's
of
it.
work.
There you go.
There were times I got discouraged, but I wasn't going to quit.
So here's what we do when we're selling our products and services. What I'm going to ask you to do, Nancy, and I want everybody else to do this too when you're doing this, is teach them your rules so that you're not just selling your products, you're also selling you.
Okay.
Right? And you can say, hey, just so you know, one of my rules is that in order for me to feel successful, I need to consistently accomplish tangible goals and see measurable progress in my endeavors. That means that
Okay.
when you work with me, you get that.
Okay. I see.
So actually, with every judgy strength you have in your top 10, you can use that, right? You can also tell them, also, I need to feel accountable for my commitments and actions to maintain my integrity and self-respect, which means that if, I will stay committed to supporting you because I need to do that for me. So you've got that when you work with me, right? There's another one.
Okay.
So when y'all are selling your services and your products or services or communities or whatever, sell them on your judgy rules. Okay. I'll give you one of mine just to kind of help you. My number 5 strength is ideation. Yep, here it is right here. And so for me, one of my rules, this has been my rule forever. I need to generate new ideas and explore creative solutions to feel intellectually stimulated and engaged. So you will never have a shortage of new ways to do the things that you need to do with your strengths, because this right here is one of my rules. I need to generate new ideas constantly. I'm always doing new things. So you can count on that with me. If anyone else here knows, when you look at the library of information I have in my community, the reason why it's vast is not because you need it all. It's because I need to keep generating new ideas. So everything you work with me, it's always something new, right? That's me. Okay. So now let's get back to you. One last thing, and then we're going to move on to the next person.
Okay.
This is your application. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to break down large projects into small manageable tasks, track your progress, and celebrate milestones to maintain motivation. So this is your application for you, but you can also do this for her.
Okay.
Say one of my strengths is achiever, which means that I'm very good at breaking down large projects into small manageable tasks, track your progress, and celebrate milestones to maintain motivation. So hopefully she'll tell you the truth and say, I'm super busy. Well, great. Because what I do is I take large projects and break them down into smaller manageable tasks to track your progress and celebrate milestones and maintain motivation. You can count on that with me. Is that true though, Nancy?
The last statement?
Yeah. This right here, is that you?
Very much.
Okay. So we want them to know that that's what they get when they work with you.
Okay.
So to sum up, right? To sum up here, Nancy, is you're going to find out what she wants, where the difference in her life she wants to be, make it. what's the frustrator, and then you're going to say, this is what I do. These are the things that I have to offer. This is how it'll help you. And this is who I am and what you get with it.
Okay.
And when you do that, one of two things that happen. Either you will start to tell her how to get started, or she'll cut you off and say, take my money now. Right?
That's great. Thank you.
This is so cool.
It is. Hi, Robin.
Hi, sweetie.
Okay. All right. Do you have your assignment, Nancy?
I've got my assignment.
Okay.
Just so you know, that strength that we were working on, that judgy strength, is number 7.
All right. Awesome. Okay. So Nancy, go ahead and write down any other thoughts or something you want to do. So we got to reach out to her as soon as possible while this is fresh in your mind. So I want you to write down something that you're going to do in the next hour, as soon as we're done here, to follow up with her, set up a meeting, whenever that is going to be.
Okay.
Let's get that ball rolling. While she's doing that, let's take a minute to get some feedback. Robin said, this is so cool. Does anybody else have some feedback or thoughts on walking through this process with Nancy, or just this process in general?
You know, it was an aha moment for me, kiddo. And what I mean by that is that judgy is about ourselves, is what I'm seeing.
Mhm.
And it's not about moving the other person forward. It's about me and how I can manage, not overcome, my judgy strength. It needs to be where I manage my judgy strength. Boom.
Yes. From one of the things that I want people to develop in themselves is an absolute 100% zero hesitation gratitude for each and every one of your top 10 strengths. And we can't have these thoughts of, this is going to hurt people if I'm going to be this. It doesn't help us, right? So absolute 100%, zero hesitation, gratitude, right? For our strengths. Understand the rules and owning and say, this is me and this is how I help others, will put us towards that. All right, we're going to go to Paulette next in just a few moments, but I want to acknowledge a couple of comments in the chat here. Leanne says, my mind is blown. My includer rule is why I struggle with being estranged from our family and make holidays difficult. And my guess on that, Leanne, is maybe believing that because you're an includer and you stand for this, everyone else in your family should be that. Is that part of it, Leanne?
That is part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we had our issues. Let's just move on instead of cutting each other out. Like, that part has never made sense to me.
And this is a fundamental forgetting of the golden rule. Your strengths are yours. No one else is supposed to help them. This is comparison, right? When we think other people should have our strengths, that's comparison.
Yeah, and I have consistency high too. So it's like you should treat everybody the same.
Yeah. So what we're doing here is we're using our strengths not only to honor our own rules, but to recognize that other people have different rules, but we can agree on an outcome. Right? We can agree on an outcome and contribute to that outcome in different ways. So before we go to Paulette, one of the things I recognize, I'll do this real quick. One of the things I recognize that causes us to unleash our own strengths and causes us to get in the way of other people's strengths is by believing that they should have mine and I should have theirs. Right. And so then ultimately we get frustrated and, because it's not that way. And instead of trying to work with those people, we fight them. And so the deal is as simple, is we stop trying to get everybody to do things our way. And instead we get on the same page about what each of us want. And you'll find that when you get on that page, you're going to find far more agreement, far more alignment, far more collaboration than saying we should do it this way. Okay, before we move on to the next person, any other thoughts on that? Diane says, this will help both of my new builders who have Achiever High. Yes, awesome. Okay. Use it there. Any other thoughts or on this, my friend? Stop looking for people who do things your way. Ask them what they want instead, and you'll find out that they're trying to achieve the same things you are. And most oftentimes, they're afraid of the same things you are as well. All right, let's go to Paulette. Paulette, you're next.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, video is not working.
That's all right. Picture looks great. Well, let's roll with it. What is the measurable result we're working on for you?
I would love to get at least one coaching client for
Okay.
the year to start working with them in January
Okay,
2020.
get one coaching client. All right, here we go.
I have 7 judgy strengths to choose from.
Okay, which one are we going to roll with?
Let's try developer.
All right, developer, very judgy strength. I love it. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so let's talk about, so first off, before we apply our strengths, we always got to know what is it we want and what are the rules with that, right? There are certain rules when it comes to getting a client that you can't violate. Like you have to bring value to people. You have to make it clear that what you have to offer will help them and you have to actually make the offer. So using your strengths is how you do what's required. So what's required to get one coaching client? What's required is number one, you have to have something to offer, which I know you do. Right?
Yep.
You've got plenty to offer. You've heck, even just my strengths course and my fundamentals training that I've given you, right? You can use that. You have that. So you have something to offer.
Yep.
Now, for those of you who don't feel like you have something to offer, this is why you join the Unleash Your Strengths community, because I'll train you how to offer this. And they actually have a private group coming up for those that want to add value to their coaching business this way. But so you got something to offer. That's number one. Number two, we've got to figure out who it's for. Okay. We got to figure out who is it for. And in this case, do you have someone already in mind that you want to offer this to? Just to be clear.
Generally, but not specific.
Not specific. Okay. So we got to figure out who is it for. And when it comes to that, we're talking about like niching down. And I get that can be really daunting. We've got a niching training inside of the, just to help you all understand this. This is so cool. Let me see if I can find it real quick because I want you to see where it's at. Hold on, Paulette, you have access to the community, right?
Yep.
Okay, so let me show you where it's at. I actually had two people come and do training on niching down. This one here was with Dr. Janet Rourke. She's actually a 2 Comma Club award winner with a company called ClickFunnels. And that means that she has a funnel that generated 7 figures. And she said, the way that you do that is by niching down specifically to who it's for. I'm going to help you here privately, but this is where you can get far more advanced training and tutelage on this. So this is Dr. Janet Rourke's training. And then another gal by the name of Dori Marino, who helps people do this on Instagram. She did a 3-part training on this, which is amazing. And then I did a training on the engagement formula to teach you how to engage with those people and get people to click and like and follow and all that fun stuff. So you're going to want to develop this skill of niching down. Okay. All right. So number one, I have something to offer. Who is it for? And then what you're going to do is you're going to focus it on a specific problem that they want to see solved. So I'm going to give you 5 questions to get the answers from. Okay, everybody write these 5 questions down, because when you talk to the people, not when I say her, I don't know why I'm thinking her, but when you talk to people about what it is you have to offer, you have to answer 5 questions. They have to do it. And so what you want to do is ask them, number one, what is the problem that they're dealing with? Is it a health problem? Is it a relationship problem? Is it an income problem? If it's all 3, which it probably is, if it's strengths, then go, what's the problem that they want to focus on first? All right. Now, I know people don't like talking about problems. I get it. But if you want someone's attention, you start with the problem.
Yep.
The second question is, how is that problem affecting them? That means, how is that problem affecting their health, their relationships, their money? And FYI, all problems affect all areas of our life. But you need them to tell you how. So say, okay, let's say this. So you're going to coach somebody with their strengths, and they're trying to use their strengths to get a job, a promotion at work. How is not getting that promotion affecting their health? How is not getting that promotion affecting their relationships? How is not getting that promotion affecting their money? And yes, there will be answers for all of these. Okay. Now, the reason you're asking these questions is because you want them to know that working with you is going to impact all those areas, not just one area. This is how you increase the value of what you have to offer. Think of it like you're like the Costco of life. They walk in to try to, repair their tires, and they find out they can get steak and they can get cereal at bulk, and they can also get a whole bunch of pens and sweaters and clothes too. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's kind of what they do. They come to you for one thing and find out they get everything. Okay.
That's where I think my challenge with the whole niching
Mhm.
is coming in.
Yeah, you can
like I
help a
know
lot
we
of
wanna
people, right?
focus on helping Christian women to get untangled. Well, the word untangled, because it's my branding, it's very vague. Oh, sorry about
Yeah.
that.
So Christy asked
So
a question, when do we ask those questions? So for here, generally, we're just asking them whenever we can. There's a process called the discovery call that I teach separately, but which we're going to skip that for now. But anyway, so we want to get people to answer these questions. And so what you're focusing on is Christian women, right?
correct.
So one thing you can do is put on social media, hey, attention Christian women. If you is it true that having a problem with blank, what is a problem you want to solve?
Cluttered home.
Cluttered home. Is it true that having a cluttered home impacts every area of your life? So you can put that post up on Facebook. Let's try generating some leads that way. And when people go, yes, let me show you how, and they start talking about it, and you can have conversations with them and say, I actually found a way to solve this. Is this something you'd be interested in hearing about? That's one way you can do this.
Okay.
So then you want to, when you're talking to them individually, you want to ask them these questions. How is it impacting your health? How is it impacting your relationships? How is it impacting your money? The third question is, what have you tried? Okay. The last thing you want to do is to tell them what you do and them go, oh, I already tried that. And then you're like, oh gosh, here we go. I love it when people go, Eddie, I already got my strengths. I already know. And I already know they don't, because they haven't heard strengths my way, the way I teach it. They may have gone to their corporate office, and their corporate office company might have had them take their strengths, and they probably only have their top 5, and they have no idea how to use them. Right. So before I get to telling them what I do, I want to know what they've tried. And specifically, I want to know what about what they've tried hasn't given them what they really want. Right? I want to know how what they've tried hasn't given them what they actually want. Sometimes people, the best way they deal with their problems is they ignore them, right? And actually, oftentimes it's a pretty quick solution. But does it give them what they actually want? And they'll say no, right? Okay. What have you tried? Well, I tried getting upset and eating a bunch of donuts. That really works, but doesn't really give me what I want. Right? Just to give, I'm going to put some childish examples in there, but there's a lot of even subtle, more complicated examples. But we got to ask them these questions. What have you tried? Right? The next one is
Go and buy a bunch of containers.
What's that?
They go and buy a bunch of containers.
Yeah, there you go. A bunch of containers.
Add to the clutter.
So yeah. Okay, so we know what the problem is, how it's affecting them. We know what they've tried that doesn't work. And then we want to know, how long have you been dealing with this? How long has this been an issue? And by the way, you might think the longer the better. That might not, that isn't always great, because sometimes people that have been dealing with this longer have learned to tolerate it.
Mm-hmm.
And people that have learned to tolerate things aren't always excited about changing, because they're like, I've always been broke or whatever, or I've always been sick, or I've always been tired. I've always managed. Why do I need to change it? That whole thing. So we want to ask them how long they've been dealing with this, because we also want to find out, how much longer do you want to deal with this? Are you cool with going another 5 years, 5 months, 5 days, 5 hours, whatever, right? The last question is, are you ready for something different? So what's the problem? How's it affecting you? What have you tried? How long have you been dealing with this? Are you ready for something different? Now, for those of you that are going through this right now and going, okay, I get it. I can see this principle, but I don't know how to do it with my people or how I'm doing it, whatever. I'm kind of giving you some steps here, but I get that sometimes it's not easy for me to just tell you what to do and you go do it. So I actually have an opening up for just 2 sessions to work with me on these kinds of things, so we can apply it specifically to your audience, the people you want to work with. And then we can bring in some judgy strengths and some of these other trainings. So if you're interested, just message me privately if you want to go through that. I'll get into detail how to get that. If you're interested, just let me know. Message me privately here on, in the chat, or send me a Facebook message or a text for those of you who might have my numbers. Okay. All right. So you got those questions, right, Paulette?
Yep.
Okay. The
I've
last
got-
piece.
I've got my offer ready.
So the last piece is to then apply what you have to offer specifically to their problem, their real problem, right? Their real problem is they're not getting what they really want from the other thing, right? That's the real problem. So what your thing does is it gives them the solution to the problem without the thing that they were dealing with before. Like my solution will help you get the solution faster and without the pain that comes with it. So if you're used to ignoring your problems, I'm going to have you face them, right? And your problems won't be a problem anymore, right? And so you'll get the result that you actually want. So you're connecting what you have to offer. In order to do that, you got to learn how to make the offer. And this is the last piece. You got to offer. You got to offer it to them. You have to face the chance of being rejected. You have to get out there and say, hey, this is what you want. This is what I have to offer. And I've got training in here and a step-by-step on how to make offers also inside this group. So you, in order to do that, right in here, here it is, leads and sales. So you, Paulette, pay attention to this because it's inside here. Look at the judgy strengths are in here as well. So how to connect your offer. Is it this one? Hold on 1 second. I think it's the other one before this. Oh yeah, yeah. So in here, after gathering this information, you'll want to use this here, this training here, this leads and sales training to connect, to show you how you connect what you have to offer to their problems. Okay. It's in these 2 trainings here. Okay. So it's important to know what to say and how to formulate it so that their ears understand. All right. So now that we understand that concept and that you got to make an offer, okay, sales are inevitable. You will get one sale. Let's go to your developer strength now. Let's do this your way. And let's look at we talked about earlier about applying or offering your strengths as a bonus, right? When you tell people what you have to offer. So here's your judgy rule example. Paulette, tell me if this is true. I need to witness growth and progress in myself and others to feel fulfilled and inspired. Is that a rule that you have?
Yes.
Can you think of a time where you have earned your commitment to this rule?
I'm thinking.
Is there a time where you witnessed growth and progress in yourself or others that led you to feeling fulfilled and inspired?
Nothing is coming to mind at the moment.
Well, what about this? What about this group? Do you feel fulfilled and inspired when you come to this group and watch other people, or even even notice that you're progressing?
Oh yeah. It's anytime that there's an aha moment.
Yeah.
When something clicks.
So that's proof right there that you need to witness the growth and progress in yourself and others to feel fulfilled. And so you can let them know, hey, one of the things you get from me is I'm going to be there to make sure that you're getting progress. Because I personally need that for myself to feel fulfilled and inspired. And so then the action plan is seek out opportunities to mentor and support others. It's funny how you and I, every time we go through this, the example is precisely for you. Provide encouragement, recognition, and celebrate individual and team accomplishments. One of the things I want you to be ready to prepare for is to celebrate a person making the decision to invest in coaching with you. How much is this coaching you're going to charge for?
I have a 4-week package and a 12-week package.
Okay, so the 12-week package, how much is that? And this is the one you're going to offer.
$797 right now.
Okay, there you go. So you get to offer that, right?
Yeah.
Provide encouragement, recognition, and celebrate their individual and team accomplishments. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so when you offer it, you get to do that.
Cool.
It's exciting. All right. Raise your hand, everybody. Anybody here right now? Did Paulette's question help you in any way? Raise your hand. Paulette, do you see the hands?
Yep.
So what I want you to see is that when you come and you ask these questions and you do this work, you develop others. You encourage others. Developers are cheerleaders. And people are cheering you on right now. That's for sure.
It's what I love to do.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Okay. Take a minute, everybody. We're going to go to Robin Gibbs and then come back to Nancy. We're going to wrap up for today. Y'all getting some good value? Is this fun? Yes? Okay. Any other thoughts? Feel free to share them in the chat. Let's move to Robin Gibbs. Robin, let's go to you. What is the measurable result you're working on this week?
I want to make some placement changes and to set up my front line for power of 3 for 50 and ask for power of 3 for 250.
So we place some changes. So in other words, you want to move some people in your network marketing business, and you got to contact the network marketing company to get them to approve those movements, correct?
Right.
Okay, brilliant. So this is a great one because it's not about it's not completely what you have control over.
Right.
Right.
Up against some roadblocks.
Yeah. So what we got to do is figure out in this situation. So everybody understands this. And everyone in network marketing goes through this, but there's a principle inside of here that can apply to everything. And the principle is Robin's like, well, I need a result, but I'm not the one who's the gatekeeper of that result. Someone else is. So she has to go to convince it's actually a committee. It's called the placements committee to approve some movements in her business that'll help her. Right?
Yeah.
This is a fabulous example of what we talked about earlier. And stop looking at processes and instead look at results that we can agree upon. So whenever you're in a situation like this, before we go to Robin's judgy strengths, which are going to be very helpful here, very influential, we have to understand that in this situation, she wants to influence. She wants them to agree to make this choice, to move this thing so she can get that result. So number one, first thing always, when you're moving into influence of others, you have to visualize those people saying yes. Because if you don't consciously visualize those people saying yes, you will subconsciously visualize the fear of them saying no. And you contribute to them saying no. Right? So purposely visualize constantly. They are going to say yes. And then you do your part. Your responsibility is to present your case, to be of influence to them. Before you do that, just like we talked about before, you got to sell this, which means you got to find out what do the placement committee want? What do they want? What matters to them? This can apply to like social media. For those of you that are trying to grow on social media, what does those social media platforms want? So that I can get more of my stuff shown to more people. So Robin's like, I want to influence those placements people, but some of you might be going, I want to influence the social media algorithm to work for me. Or maybe some of you are, trying to grow people in like your family. What do those people want? All right. It's always about what do they want first. So what do they want? Not how do they go about it. So what do they want, right? So Robin, you want to find out, what do the placements committee want? What is their job? What's their function? What's their desire? What are they looking for? And
They
when
want
you
8 more months.
what's that?
They want me to wait until February.
Have they already told you that?
Yes, I just got
Okay. So
today.
what you want to do is find out why they want that. Just like we talked about earlier, we don't want to just find out what people want. We want to find out why they want that. So you're honoring that principle. Okay. And what's cool is that when you're honoring that principle, you'll get more cooperation and more influence. Okay. So that's those, number one. Number two is then, okay, well, how can I connect with what I want? That's your judgy rules. So let's go to your judgy strength that you're going to pick.
Yeah, so I wanted to pick positivity because futuristic, I already got it mapped out as to what I want to happen.
It's my
And
favorite. I love talking about positivity being judgy. This is
yeah,
so good.
because I'm doing, like you said, I'm having some struggles with visualizing them saying no.
Yeah.
Both that
Um,
person who I want them to give up their spot to someone else and they're not getting back to me.
yeah. We need to be more of influence here. All right. So first off, let's understand that positivity is absolutely judgy. Just in case anybody has any issues with dealing with that, feel free to comment in the chat and I'll help you understand why. It's a good thing. So positivity is judgy. The rule is I need to focus on the positive aspects of situations and people to maintain my optimism and enthusiasm, because this is a strength. So positivity is about contagious enthusiasm. Contagious means that I have it, I share it, and I still have it. And if we don't have it, we don't share it. So positivity says I need to focus on the positive aspects of situations and people to maintain my optimism and enthusiasm. So when I say visualize those people saying yes, also visualize those people wanting to see you succeed. And understand they have a different perspective. It doesn't make them right or them wrong or you wrong. They have a different perspective, but they want to see you succeed. Everybody wants testimonials of how the placements committee made a difference in their life. Right? Leanne, I see you.
Yeah, we struggled with placements. So yeah.
I get it.
know
I get it, right? Because although we agree on different ways, we can still agree on the outcome. We got to know what they really want. What is it they really want? They don't just want to see you rank advance and all that. They want something else too. You have to find that out. I think if you found that out, you'd help a lot of people. All right. So focus on the positive aspects of the situations and the people to maintain your optimism and enthusiasm. You'll need that to be of influence with them. Okay. Then the next part, practice gratitude. There we go. Oh boy. Practice gratitude, highlight successes, and focus on solutions rather than dwelling on problems. Cultivate an optimistic outlook to inspire and motivate yourself and others. Now, I just want to make sure that we're clear about this. It says inspire, not control. Sometimes inspiration takes time. But your best bet is bringing that contagious enthusiasm. Just out of curiosity, where is restorative for you?
34.
Okay, so to use restorative, which is also judgy, would keep you from getting what you want, which is in this case, to identify and solve problems, correct errors, improve flawed systems, create a sense of order and efficiency. You can't do that in this place. If you do that in this place, you will never get what you truly want, which is positive influence, right? Inspiration. This is not how you do it, right? So practice gratitude, number one, highlight successes, once you find out what they want, practice gratitude, because the placements committee actually can do some pretty amazing things, right? Of course, when there's negotiation. And by the way, this is important. You want to be a great negotiator in this process. You see, if you come into this saying, I'm the wellness advocate, or I'm the distributor, I'm the one who's in charge, I'm the one they need to make happy, that's not negotiation. That's called tyranny, right? A tyrant doesn't really get what they want. This is a poor way of negotiation. But you also don't want to be a slave to others, which is the opposite, where you just roll over and bend over backwards either, right? If you roll over, bend over backwards, then you're a slave, in which case you don't get what you want there either. What we want to do is be a negotiator. And a negotiator is where you say, this is what I want, this is what you want. Let's get what we both want so that we are both thrilled with the outcome. I learned this from Jordan Peterson. Super cool training I got this from him. It was awesome. So your goal is to be thrilled. And the only way to be thrilled is if you know what they want and you know what you want. And in order to know what you want, you got to know who you are. Robin, you know who you are. Right? So you know who you are, you know what you want, find out who they are and what they want, and you can become a powerful negotiator where you don't have to be a tyrant or a slave.
You know, I have gotten some conflicting information from them, so I may be able to use that, you know, in hearing you. I'm thinking I may be able to send them and say, you know, I was told that I could do it this way. And like you say, come across as more of negotiating with them and working with them.
Yeah. Yeah. If you try to come off as a tyrant, you're going to find out who's really in power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's not, you do have power here. You do have influence here. You know, you do help build the company. So it's not like they want to be tyrants either, but they're not going to be slaves because slaves don't last in their jobs long.
Yeah.
You know, they'll be fired if they roll over and try to be a slave to you. So we've got to negotiate. We got to find out what they want, what matters to them. You clearly communicate to them what you want. And if I could give you some more on this, I know you have futuristic, yes?
Yeah, that's number one.
So you can say, hey, help me maintain a clear vision of the future that'll inspire me into action. Say, I need to be able to envision a clear and compelling future to feel inspired and motivated to act. And I'm pretty sure they want you to feel inspired and motivated to act. Say, tell them, help me create and envision a clear and compelling future to feel inspired and motivated to act. That's so good, right? So you're using your judgy strengths when you're negotiating. Got it? Use your judgy strengths when you're negotiating, because when you use your judgy strengths, you know who you are, you're standing for who you are, you're communicating who you are and what you want. And then you're using your judgy strengths to help others tap into theirs and find out what they want, what matters to them, so that you can become a great negotiator with both of you get thrilling results. Right? And that comes through the collaboration. All right. Was this helpful, everybody? Okay. Once again, if you want to know how to do these things, friends, I know a lot of this is, you know, sometimes theoretical. I kind of have to do it this way in our groups, but if you want specifics on this, like I said, I've got a session where I'm a spot open where I can do 2 sessions with anybody. Just message me and I'll share with you the details depending on what it is you need. I got a lot of tools that'll help. Okay, so Nancy, I see your hand up. We're about to wrap up. Nancy, go ahead and share with us.
Very quick question, because I saw it in the chat and I don't know if it got answered. Someone was asking if the 5 questions you gave us are supposed to be presented at now I forgot what the question said.
Yeah, it was the strengths discovery conversation. Yeah.
Where to present.
So yeah, so I've got a process. So the answer is yes, but not everybody has access to that. Right.
Okay.
So just so everybody knows what we're talking about, when you work with me privately, I actually give you a 12-week program that is all laid out. And then I give you tools to get into these conversations with people very effortlessly. And these conversations actually bring value to their life so that even if they say no to working with you, they come away with it from feeling better and moving forward, which is pretty powerful. So for those of you that have that strengths discovery conversation process in the 12-week program, the answer is yes, those questions can be asked inside of that conversation because we want that conversation to be uplifting and matter. For those of you that have it, make sure you're using it. If you don't have it, message me and I'll show you how you can get it. It's for me, I want to eliminate all the guesswork with what we do and just have a process that works. Okay, y'all. So it's now 10:27 Mountain Standard Time, which means we've only got 3 minutes left. Thank you all so much for being here. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. But let's wrap up on this final message, of course, is my friends, it's unleash your strengths, and being your best self does not mean telling other people to take it or leave it. Okay? I want you to embrace the way I view authenticity. Authenticity to me is I'm going to be my best self and do everything I can to make that valuable for you. The only way I can do that is by caring and knowing what it is you want, right? So becoming a master of asking these questions will help you become and stay your best self to be of value and benefit to others. Michael, yes, you do. All right. So my friends, feel free to unmute, say goodbye, or if you have any other thoughts or things you want to share before we go, and then we'll wrap up.
Happy, Merry. Be safe.
Thank you. Thank you, Eddie. Happy Merry
Christmas, Eddie, and
Christmas,
everyone.
This was
Hanukkah.
awesome today.
As
Thank you,
always.
Eddie, and Merry
All right,
Christmas.
awesome.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, Kim.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.
Buddy.
Bye, everybody.
Enjoy. All right.